Hi viewers, welcome to today's program, Youth at the Crossroad. Transition comes with challenges. Marriage is one of the transitions that every youth who intend to get married must face. The path of marriage sometimes is rocky, Monday, and sometimes full of darkness. The youth are left at the crossroad, wondering what to do. Today, we address the issue of courtship, so that we can help those who are still on the path of marriage, so that they can know the right path to follow. To help us unpack the issue of courtship, we have our guest today. At the far end is Reverend Doreen, a parish priest, a mother, and a priest with the youth at heart. How are you, Mchungaji?
I'm fine.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Near me is Captain Rogers Munene. Rogers is an author, and he had authored several books. One of the books that he has authored is Youth and Love and Life, targeting the youth in the society. And he has also authored another book, My Grade, My Project. He's also a mentor and a chaplain in our schools. Welcome to the show, Rogers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The voice of the young people are here with us. Sauti ya vijana. Tuko na Cory at the far end.
How are you, viewers?
Grace next to Cory.
Hi, viewer.
And we have Kiama.
Hello, viewer.
And Mudhoni next to me.
Hi.
Program is Youth at the Crossroad, and I'm your host, Karaoke Gigi. Reverend Doreen.
Yes.
Courtship. Is it an animal? When we talk of courtship, what are we really talking about?
Good. Thank you so much, viewer, and my host. Courtship, I would say that it is a period whereby a couple or a man and a woman develop an intimate relationship or a romantic relationship which leads to marriage or to an engagement. Mm-hmm. Courtship is whereby people learn each other so that they can decide whether they want really to get married and become a man or a husband
and a wife.
And a wife.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So is this gender that they, after proposal?
It can be after the proposal,
Uh-huh.
after the man proposes to the woman,
Uh-huh.
or the vice versa.
Uh-huh.
And if they agree to go together,
Uh-huh.
they are able to sit down and say, now we are on a journey.
Uh-huh.
We embark on a journey to be able to understand one another.
Okay.
With a vision of leading to marriage.
The vision.
Yeah.
The goal.
The goal, the purpose.
The purpose leading to marriage.
Yes.
There is something that you have said, and I want to shout it aloud so that the world can hear.
Yes, please.
It is a man and a woman.
Good. Not a man and a man.
Not a man and a man.
Yes, and not a woman and a woman. It is a woman or vice versa, a man and a woman.
A man and a woman.
Yes, people of different gender. Yes.
I think that one should be clear in our mind and clear of the mind of our viewer.
Yes, and the people and the young people who are not yet married, they should know that to court, it is between, and in the Christian perspective of it, it is between a man and a woman. It's not a man and a man. We, in Christianity, we don't believe in heterosexual or homosexual. We are here as a man and a woman to get married, to procreate.
For procreation.
And to fulfill or multiply the world, as it is in Genesis.
Okay.
Please.
Captain Rogers.
Yes, please.
Reverend Doreen has come up with the definition of courtship. I don't know whether you have anything to add on the definition. And then as you add, kindly highlight to us why then courtship. Must we have it?
Thank you. And even before we get to that, I like the emphasis. God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. So let's go for the both genders coming together. As Reverend Doreen is saying, courtship is a process of two potential marriage candidates coming together that they may discover each other know each other's flaws, weaknesses, and strengths, and see whether they can complement each other and be one. This is a process that can either make or break a couple. It's a defining moment that needs to be taken care of very, very seriously and very carefully. Again, it's in this process where either of the candidates, either of the persons involved here can purpose to either drop it, either proceed, and from there, if they are to proceed, seek the blessings of the parents and seek the processes towards the same. So my host, the audience, the youth, the teenagers ought to know that one of the worst things that people can do, or what they can do, people do, and this is a mistake that has cost so many of our people, is courting in marriage. You don't discover each other in marriage. But I can tell you why courtship is happening in marriage, because in the old days, proposal started with, in the Western nations, in the Westernization, started with a flower and a ring. Will you marry me? In our traditions, it started with people coming together, and the writing was there during our time. Before that, there was sending emissaries and all that. Currently, marriages are starting with, I am pregnant. And when pregnancy is mentioned, somebody has to run to the other. And so gross mistakes happen.
Mm-hmm. There is something that you said, that courtship make or break. And somehow you have elaborated how it can break.
Yes.
But are we starting something that will end up breaking? And Reverend Doreen said that the goal is marriage. Now you are telling us that it can break.
Yes. Even as the goal is marriage, remember when you're speaking about life, we are speaking about having goals, somewhere we are headed to, somewhere we want to get, after all is said and done. But again, courtship is not a guarantee that we shall have a wonderful couple out of it. Because as I said, and as Reverend Doreen is saying, is a moment of discovering each other, knowing each other. You may get to it, and as you discover your friend, or the person you want to settle to in marriage, you end up realizing they have some attributes and some personalities that you don't like. Possibly, you'd want somebody who will be very understanding, somebody who will be very calm, someone who will be very hospitable and very kind to people. Then you go to a hotel to have a cup of tea, and he's there yelling, she's there yelling at the waiters. If that person is yelling at the waiters and losing his cool or her cool, then you be guaranteed that you not change him or her in marriage. Mm-hmm. And so I still feel you better break that relationship in courtship more than you lie to yourself. These are called the lies and delusions. That you shall get yourself to marriage and then change him or her in marriage.
Okay, thank you. Modoni?
Yes.
Would you like to be discovered when you are married or after you are married?
Would I like to be discovered when I am married or before marriage?
Or before marriage?
I'd prefer to be discovered before marriage.
Before marriage?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Kiama, would you like to before or?
Before.
Before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, before.
Why before?
Because, as Reverend said, that we don't want to break the marriage. Obviously.
Okay.
It's better to break that relationship.
Aha, Mishik.
Yes.
Before or?
Before.
Before.
Yes.
So they would like to be discovered before they get married. Then we need to outline the purpose then of courtship, because I think it is in the purpose that they will have to discover one another. Can I start with Doreen? What are these? What are the purpose of courtship?
One, when a man and a woman, they are embarked on a journey of courtship, they start discovering one another. Mm-hmm. That is getting to know each other. My traits, your traits, how I talk, mm-hmm. how I behave, your reasoning, how you reason out. And as we discover the purpose and the intentions of each and every one of the couple. Because as a woman courting a man, I want to discover what he has really. In everything, in all aspect of life. Same case, the man wants to discover from a woman what I have in all aspect of life. And as we continue discovering one another, it's good to note that we are not all 100%. I have my weakness as a woman, and the man has his own weakness. Are we able to complement with the weaknesses that we have? Because, yes, as you're looking for to be discovered, there are things that you discover in courtship and you find this one I can be able to go with. This one cannot be able to tolerate. These are some of things that you should put in mind. And to the young people, sometimes you may be thinking, I want an angel. You can't get an angel in this life. Angels are in heaven. And here you must get a person. A person who has strength and weaknesses. And as we continue discovering one another, we are able to nurture each other as a couple. Or maybe as we are in courtship. Am I able to walk with this person? Am I not able? Can I be able to tolerate? Am I not able to tolerate? So another purpose in this courtship is how am I able to nurture my colleague?
Thank you. Captain Rogers, maybe you can add from where Reverend Doreen had ended. What are the purpose? And there is something that Doreen has said that we are not angels. And I think the opposite of an angel is a demon. So are we demon or what?
One of the most complex engagements in life is marriage, in this, that the young man is born, bred, and brought up differently from a young lady. They have been educated differently, and they're supposed to come together and be one. That's where the Reverend says, these are human beings, and by mentioning that they are not angels, we mention, the interpretation is, these two parties have their own weaknesses, they have their own flaws, that they have to learn, discover, and eventually bond. So it's my feeling that yet another purpose of now this process is that this young man may get to discover the flaws. I don't want to say the devils, I don't want to say the demons, but I want to say the weaknesses and the flaws of this other party, and vice versa. And then they see what to tolerate, what to accommodate, what to bear with, what to give up on, what to nurture, what to take or what to leave. The other thing is marriage purpose is to complement, support each other. Before a young man gets to the life of a young man, and a young man gets to the life of a young lady, each of them have lives. And so they need to come together, nurture each other, support each other, make each other stronger, finer, and better than they found each other. So that's why courtship is very important, that they may know where to come in, how to bond, and be one.
Okay, thank you so much, viewers. We want to go for a break. But before we go for a break, I want to leave you with this statement. One person told his spouse that as we come together, I am not promising you heaven, neither am I promising you hell. As we come back, we'll know the expectation of our youth, what they expect in courtship. God bless you. Welcome back, viewers. This is Youth at the Crossroads. Courtship is our topic today. As we went for a break, the last statement was, I do not promise you heaven, neither do I promise you hell. And I want to request to come to the voice of you that we have today. Maybe they are expecting heaven. They tell us their expectation in courtship. Let me start with you, Mudhoni. What are your expectations in courtship?
I'll just mention maybe one or two.
Mm-hmm.
I expect friendship and honesty.
Mm-hmm.
In courtship, I expect somebody to be very, very honest with me. For me not to discover later that maybe that person was pretending to be another person. I expect somebody to be yourself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Be himself.
Yeah.
The original Kariuki.
The real you, yes.
The real me.
Yes. Don't come and pretend maybe you.
Nitoe roho yangu yote nikupatie.
Na ukue yourself.
Na niwe myself.
Yes, because the problem nowadays, you meet somebody, you get into friendship, then courtship, but uyo mtu ana pretend. The person is pretending you're this, and then you later find that person is not the way he was presenting himself
So
to
you
be.
expect honesty.
Yes.
Maybe Kema expects other things rather than honesty.
For myself, I expect for a part-time, a problem-solving part-time, and at the same time getting to know each other better.
Getting to know each other better.
Yeah.
When you are talking about knowing each other better, it is the weakness and the strength.
And the strength. Yeah, because for me, the main reason as to why I said probably solving of some problems, because I don't want to live the last time illness, or I don't want to go next year ill-prepared. I want to be full, complete.
Kama niko na mtoi nikwambie.
Yeah.
Na kama nilitoa boro nikwambie.
Yeah.
Aha, Grace, what are your expectations?
Oh, I expect someone who have we have the same mindset. I expect someone who is, I'm a Christian, so I expect somebody who is pure like I am. I don't expect a demon.
How do you miss a pure?
I don't expect a drunkard. I expect, when we are quoting as youth, sometimes we make mistakes. As Mudhoni said, we need somebody to be true. So I expect someone, what do I say? I expect someone who is straight to me.
That's somebody who is straightforward.
Yeah, what your intentions are, and why we are in this.
Okay. Mr. Corey, what are your expectations?
My expectations are, I expect the person who is simply to compliment. We are not perfect. We have weaknesses. We have strength. Come with your weaknesses. Come with your strength. I come with mine. We compliment. Because complementation means we have our strength and weaknesses. We need to match.
Okay.
That's match our weaknesses.
So you come together?
And be ready also to change what I have, and also be ready to be changed. Because there was some people and they don't want to be changed. You want to remain static. You can't be like I can change.
Be ready to learn from me as I learn from you. What I'm hearing from the voices of the young people that we have, actually I can say, like Mudhoni started by saying, honesty. That you are honest, you know what you are doing. I had a story in one of the medias recently of a guy who worked at Kenya Airway. Now, for a long time, for over 10 years, amekuwa amemwambia the wife, I work with Kenya Airway. Unfortunately, akitoka nyumbani anatoka with a shoot, very clean. Na kwani anaenda kwa Kenya Airway, but he is a sweeper. So when the woman came to realize that he is working there, but not in the offices, but as a sweeper, the woman had to run away and said, we are not going to continue with this relationship. As you address their expectation, please mention some of the pitfalls that we have in courtship. Can I start with you, Doreen?
Good. I want to tell my young people this. Yes, there are so many challenges as we
use your mic.
There are so many challenges as we go on with courtship. And before I come to that, it's good to tell them that courtship has stages. The initial one, whereby you introduce yourself to each other, you're ready now to go for courtship. Then we have the second stage, which is interest. What are you interested with? Who are you? The third stage is you are enlightened about the other person. And the last one is engagement. So it is a process. And on this process, this is now where you find some of us who get into some challenges or the pitfalls. To start with, what is a pitfall? A pitfall is whereby you fall into a trap that is well calculated.
A trap that is well calculated.
Well calculated. Meaning that in this courtship, we are friends, we are honest with one another, we love one another true, but to some extent, out of the feelings we have for one another, because here there is attraction of two people who are opposite sex, and they attract one another, you find yourself now maybe engaging one another into sex before marriage.
What's wrong with that?
Coming into sex before marriage, it's wrong. I can't really remember the name that we usually use it, but it is wrong to do it before marriage.
Fornication.
Yeah, there is still another one. Apart from fornication, there is still another one. The other thing, there could be young people, maybe teenagers, who are thinking they are courting. And they find themselves either pregnant, and maybe they have had intercourse, and they find themselves pregnant, and definitely now they have to be forced to marry, or something or somewhere will happen. The other challenge or the pitfall that could be there in courtship is out of the good feelings, we forget where we are going to. So even our courtship does not end well, and we find that we are in a mess. We can also be at a point whereby in the courtship, maybe you become engaged or something. And when you are engaged, we find that our parents now have started coming in. And maybe the parent has started directing me the kind of a man he would want me to have, the kind of a woman he would want to have, you to have as a son. And this is one of the biggest challenges that we have with our young people. Mami, because I'm a baby girl, nataka mwanaume ako na gari, nataka mwanaume ako hivi, ako na nyumba kirereshwa. You see all those things. So these are some of the challenges that we have in courtship.
Thank you so much. You have said that there are so many pitfalls, and pitfall is a calculated move. Not just a pitfall is a calculated move.
Yes.
As you address the expectation of the youth that we have today, and then they represent a multitude. Maybe tell us, what are these pitfalls, and somehow how can we overcome these pitfalls?
Apparently and very unfortunately, people are very cosmetic for like here. I don't know what convinces our youth and teenagers out there, or rather, let me mention youth, because we are speaking about people who are potential marriage partners, that a good marriage partner, or a good marriage person, a good marriage candidate is that person who is so cosmetic, that person whom we can judge on appearance. It's not about what you have, it's about whom you are. Then, there are so many lies and delusions that are being used apparently by the devil to win or lose young people in this journey that we're speaking about. And one of the pitfalls is what, I don't know if you've heard this among millennials, that virginity is not dignity, is lack of opportunity. Nice. And so, one of the best ways of confirming that umeivo, is giving your virginity to that other party. Eventually, you get to a pitfall of losing your virginity, your dignity, your testimony, and you even get you lose your purpose for that relationship altogether. I feel one of the indicators of love is respect. So, if you get to a pitfall of getting disrespected, then you can be sure you are being told, I don't love you for whom you are, I love you what you have. And immediately I'll get what you have, then we will not be able to continue anymore. So our young people need to be well advised and need to be very careful that one, don't go for the looks. It's not about what you look. I may love Doreen because of her hair, then one day she loses her hair. I may love her because of her face. One day something unfortunate happens and she's disfigured. I may love her feet, and then something happens and she loses the feet, and may God forbid that happens to her or to anyone. And eventually I'll lack that what I was looking for. Let us go for the content, not the rainbow, but the reward. What constitutes or rather makes this person? What testimony do they have? What are their goals, their principles in life? And if all what they want is to confirm to me that you love me, we have to sleep together, then no, that person doesn't respect you. And so if somebody doesn't respect you, they don't love you.
Okay.
Lastly on that is the testimony. We are losing so many young people, apparently, even in church, the very good sisters and brothers, because they lost their testimony in this relationship. And young people need to be well advised. Anytime you're studying with a girl or a boy by the road, and the people are passing, there is something they are decoding out of that. And eventually, one day, when you want to express your intention of marriage or even and all that, there are people who shall doubt because they would see you someplace in the darkness. So may we protect our testimonies that whatever we are doing in the right, in the right way, in the right place, and we are not getting to temptations of being in the dark corners where we shall eventually do what we are not supposed to do in the process of courtship.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to go to Grace. Grace said something, that one of your expectations is purity. And Rogers have said that some of these people will come and tell you, if you love me, I must sleep with you.
Yes.
Lose your salvation, or would you lose this person? He has money, he has car.
I have a saying that guides me. God is a creator, he'll never run out of ideas. So if you think you're the only handsome man, I'll run and he'll create someone else
God
for me.
will create.
Yes.
He is a creator.
So I keep my faith, I keep my purity, I keep my God, and he will go.
Can I encourage you?
Yes.
He has already created one.
Amen.
He has already created one. You know, we are running short of time. Can you help us? You know, how long should a courtship last? 1 year, 10 years? Miaka gapi? Tukutane leo, kesho tuoane? You know, how long should a relationship last?
Okay, this one is a bit tricky to many of the young people. According to me, and as a Christian, I would say not less than 6 months.
Not less than 6 months?
Yes. Why? At least you know uyo mtu. You try to understand that person.
You don't marry a stranger?
You don't marry a stranger. At least befriend.
Okay, let's hear from Rogers. How long should a relationship last?
It depends with the parties involved. Because again, if they are very distant to each other, they will need a longer time. But if they're in the same neighborhood locality, they are seeing each other every other time, they meet in church and all that, it can be even shorter. But as she's saying, I would feel it should not be less than 6 months. And not more than 2 years again.
Not more than 2 years.
Yes. Because again, if it's overdone, too much of everything ends up becoming very dangerous and poisonous. You can be sure of that. Again, there are goals. And then you can be sure for the life of a young person, in the bracket of 2 years, you're ready to get a transfer from this place to another place. And so if you have not settled this, you go elsewhere and find somebody whom you think is much better, and you have wasted someone. And you have lost so many young ladies, young men in too. You had been tagged somewhere, and then you lost that person. And somebody attempts suicide on your name.
So not less than 6 months, not more than 2 years. You know, let me not say what I wanted to say. I think I quoted for 4 years.
All right.
But that is me.
Okay.
That is
we said it depends again. It
Me, I
depends.
did it for 3 years.
You did it for 3 years. Oh.
I was between 1.5 to 2 years there, about that bracket.
That's okay. Actually, 2 years. What?
But it's because we were again in the same locality.
You are in the same locality.
We grew together.
Time is running, but I wanted to say something before we lap up. There is a gentleman who told me the reason that they have 2 weeks, 2 months courtship is because they are fearing that their spouse is going to be snatched from them. So that they hurry them before that person is
Taken away.
is taken away. So, Corey, your last remark.
I can say thank you so much for that opportunity. Courtship.
Use your mic. Just
Courtship should not be more than 3 years.
thank you.
Yes.
Chris,
Yes,
are you ready for courtship?
I am courting, maybe.
You're already courting.
Did you hear maybe?
We
At least you should not go for more than 2 years.
wish you all the best. Kiama,
Yeah, of course, we should take as appropriate time as possible.
appropriate time as possible. Modoni.
We should take not more than 2 years while trusting in the Lord.
Your last word to the youth who are listening to you. Yes, Glorious.
All right. Young people, test before trusting. Before you give yourself to someone, work on yourself, capacity, build yourself, and know that marriage is a lifetime engagement, it's not a contract.
Thank you.
Test before trusting.
Okay. To my young people, if you feel that your life for marriage, kindly ask God to provide one partner.
Thank you so much. We wish we can continue and continue. One time I read a book by Walter Trowbridge. And one of the things that Walter Trowbridge says in his book is that once you are engaged, you should make sure that you winter and summer together. It doesn't matter how long you take, but you winter. Winter is time of plenty. Summer is time of plug. Winter and summer together. Still remember in the Lord's Prayer, we pray to the Lord. Our Father in heaven, your will be done. You are seeking the will of God in this. So until you say, I do, that is the moment you come to know what the will of God was. Wait until you say, I do, because that is the time the will of God will be accomplished. Otherwise, God bless you. I am Kariuki Gige. Connect again next week.